Former Dancing on Ice star Rufus Hound surprises fans with engagement to EastEnders actress Sally Hodgkiss, proposing during a stage performance. Rufus's clean-shaven look adds to the surprise. The couple, dating since 2023, shared the joyful news on Instagram, receiving warm congratulations from friends. Rufus, previously married with children, now embarks on a new chapter with Sally. Dancing on Ice star unrecognizable as he announces engagement to EastEnders actress. Former Dancing on Ice star Rufus Hound is celebrating after proposing to his partner while performing on stage, and he looked unrecognizable. In a post shared on Instagram, EastEnders star Sally Hodgkiss announced that she and the comedian are engaged after he popped the question in an adorably romantic moment. But seeing Rufus, 45, without his signature goatee facial hair had us doing a double take. Sally shared pictures on X of her and Rufus embracing after he asked for her hand in marriage, explaining that she wasn't sure if he was still in character during their improv performance.
Yeah.
So this is the moment that my favorite person on earth proposed to me on stage at the end of the London Improvathon, she wrote. I thought he was still in character, and therefore it was a pretty weird move considering he was playing my brother, having posted a picture of them hugging and another of them sharing a kiss, Sally continued, but then I realized that the name he said was mine, not my ludicrous character name. It was mad and beautiful, just like him. Of course, I said yes. And we are absolutely over the moon. Sparkles crescent moon sun with face. The couple received a wave of messages congratulating them on their news, with stand-up Mark Nelson writing on X, "This is so awesome. So happy for you both." Stand-up Vix Layton added, "I love this so much," while theater director Emily Collins commented, "Sally. Delighted for you both XXXXX." Rufus, 45, was on Dancing on Ice in 2021, competing on the ITV series with Robin Johnstone. However, they were forced to pull out of the competition in the fourth week after the comic tested positive for COVID-19. He was replaced by TV presenter Matt Richardson as a result, who ended up being eliminated just a few days later. When did Rufus Hound and Sally Hodgkiss start dating? Rufus and Sally are believed to have started dating in 2023, after meeting on the set of a pantomime in 2022 that they went public with their relationship at Glastonbury Festival last summer, with Sally sharing a post to social media of the two living it up at Worthy Farm. She said in the sweet post, alongside a series of photographs, "Rufus Hound is the best person I ever met." So there's that as well. Rufus, too, shared a sweet post declaring, "No one has ever loved me as much as this woman, and the best bit is she's all things wonderful. It's a blessing to be her boyfriend, and she is my absolute best person that I didn't make. She makes everything fun and good all the time. She's sunshine and snogging and smiling all at once. It was the best time. Thanks at Glastonbury. You remain as close to heaven as exists on earth." Rufus was previously married to Beth Johnson for 13 years. He announced in 2020 that they had separated. Do Rufus Hound and Sally Hodgkiss have any children? Rufus and Sally do not have any children together, however Rufus is a father to 2 children from his previous marriage to Beth Johnson. Together they welcomed son Albie and daughter Hilda before their separation in 2020. Sally does not have any children. EastEnders Rocky Cotton faces shock arrest. Is this the last we'll see of Rocky? EastEnders spoilers follow. Rocky Cotton has been arrested over the cafe fire in EastEnders. In this week's episodes, Kathy has had to cope with a spiraling disaster when her estranged husband Rocky remembered seeing Sharon outside the cafe on the night Keanu was killed. Rocky continued putting the pieces together once he spotted Denise and Stacy rushing across the square with a tarpaulin, leading to him confronting Kathy with his suspicions. Kathy went to the other members of the Six for help, but was stunned when Suki Korpanisar encouraged her to shop Rocky to the police for committing arson at the cafe earlier this year. EastEnders George Knight to devastate Elaine with secret Cindy meetings. Suki kept up the pressure in Friday's, December 29th episode, while Kathy turned to grandson Bobby Beale to help her make her decision. Without explaining the realities of the situation, Kathy confided in Bobby that she was being forced to make a decision she didn't want to have to make. "Nan, you'll decide the right thing because you're the kindest and wisest woman that I know, and you always do what's best for everyone," Bobby told her. Later, Rocky spotted Kathy having a hushed conversation with Stacy and Denise, then seized on the situation as Denise denied ever moving a tarp even though Rocky hadn't actually mentioned it. EastEnders Alfie Moon left devastated by Linda Carter's setback. "You two are up to something, and if you've got Kathy trying to cover for you, I ain't gonna let this rest," he warned them. Rocky soon had another run-in with Ian and Cindy Beale, with Ian warning Rocky he wouldn't let him worm his way back into Kathy's heart. "I love your mom, and there ain't nothing you can do that will stop us being together," Rocky told Ian. Ian then warned him, "You've got no idea who I am or what I'm capable of." EastEnders Sam Mitchell to make major New Year discovery. Meanwhile, Denise was helping Kathy gather evidence against Rocky when they discovered his internet browser history included searches for insurance payouts before the fire at the cafe. Everyone gathered at the Vic for the New Year quiz night, where Linda made a scene by getting drunk. Rocky turned up just as Kathy and Denise were trying to convince Linda to go sleep it off. The police barged in to arrest Rocky in front of everyone, with Rocky believing it was Ian who'd turned him in rather than Kathy. As Stacy consoled Kathy, she was shocked by Kathy saying she couldn't let things with Rocky end like this. She then placed a mysterious call to Denise asking for the big favor. Over at the Walford PD station, Rocky stuck to his story that the fire was an accident even when confronted with his search history. The big favor Kathy asked for was a chance to speak with Rocky alone at the police station. Kathy begged her husband to confess and be the man she knew he was deep inside. When it came time for Rocky to face interrogation once again, he broke down in tears as he was confronted with the evidence. Viewers know that Brian Conley is set to leave his role as Rocky Cotton. Will the character be going down for arson? EastEnders airs on Mondays, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One. The show also streams on BBC iPlayer, where most episodes drop early at 6 a.m. ahead of their TV broadcast. EastEnders Spoilers: family member thrown out for good as Honey is attacked and Martin is enraged. Families are being driven to the brink in EastEnders next week, as George Knight takes action to evict Gloria from his life, while the return of Martin Fowler could upset the marriage of Denise Fox and Jack Branning when he discovers the latter's affair with Stacey Slater. Making his comeback, he walks in on them kissing and, as Jack still reels from Denise's ultimatum on their marriage and they take a tentative step towards progress, it could all be undone. Will Martin spill the beans? Elsewhere, Linda Carter is left shaken by another horrifying encounter with Dean Wicks. Inexplicably, the fundraiser is being held in the Vic, on the understanding that Dean won't attend. Of course, he does anyway, and a frantic Linda is forced to flee. And this isn't the only vile move from Dean next week either. Monday, March 18th. Jack is walking on eggshells around Denise after her ultimatum, but when he confides in Stacey, she advises him to do whatever Denise asks. Later, Stacey goes to see Denise and persuades her to get her marriage back on track. The two women arrange a family barbecue to bring both sides of baby Charlie's family together. At the barbecue things are awkward and Stacey talks with a fragile Denise, feeling terrible. Out in the backyard, Stacey tells Jack that she wishes she could be selfish, but he needs to be there for Denise. He holds his arms out for a hug, and they share a tender goodbye kiss, but Martin walks in and catches them. Elaine and the Night Girls are making a big fuss of George on the morning of his birthday when Gloria arrives. Although she gets a frosty reception, George agrees to talk to his mom, but when Gloria insists that George had a happy childhood, he's infuriated and loses his temper. Elaine escorts shaken Gloria out, and horrified by his outburst, George rushes off. Later, he returns and confides his fears to Elaine before breaking down in her arms. Jean wants the Vic as the venue for Jade's fundraiser, and Linda surprisingly agrees, on the proviso that Dean isn't allowed to attend. Back at Dean's place, Jean is terrified when Jade has a bad coughing fit and calls the doctor, much to his horror. Things get worse when Jade takes a look at his phone. Elsewhere, Avani pressures Will into vaping. Tuesday, March 19th. Jack and Stacey insist to Martin that the kiss was a moment of madness and beg him not to tell Denise. Chelsea interrupts and is suspicious when Stacey rushes after Martin. When alone, Stacey admits to the affair with Jack and tells Martin it's over and the whole thing is none of his business. Later, Martin confides about what's happened to Kathy, who desperately tries to persuade him to keep the secret, fearing the consequences of Denise finding out for the rest of the 6 women. Back at the Brannings, Jack breaks down to Denise about how scared he's been about her, leading to a breakthrough for them as a couple as they pledge to fix things. Dean has a lot of explaining to do as Jade and Jean confront him about dodging Shabnam's calls and texts. He manages to persuade them that he's been putting his head in the sand and avoiding Shabnam, and Jade wonders why. Her mom knows she's still too ill to go to Pakistan. Later, Jade asks Dean if she can go to the fundraiser at the Vic, but he insists that he'll only let her if she's well enough. Jade is unaware that Dean is continuing to mess with her antibiotics to keep her close. Wednesday, March 20th. Johnny taunts Dean about being banned from Jade's fundraiser, making him determined to find a way to get there. After manipulating Jean and Harvey, Dean arrives at the Vic, and Jade begs Elaine just to let him see her speech. As they wait for her big moment, Dean begs Jade to stay with him in London, but she insists she needs to go to Pakistan and be with her mum. Linda is furious to see Dean in her bar and rushes upstairs, with Jean right behind her. Emotional Linda makes Jean see that Dean is playing her, so Jean returns downstairs to order him to leave. Honey is horrified to catch Will vaping and demands to know who sold him the vape. After finding out it was Avani, Honey charges into the Vic to have it out with Priya, who is unrepentant. Ravi arrives and profusely apologizes, but Priya makes the situation 10 times worse. Meanwhile, Penny tries to persuade Lauren to have a 30th birthday celebration, but she's not keen, especially when Peter tells her he's got a date that night, so can't make it. Thursday, March 21st. Ravi confronts Avani about selling vapes, but she won't back down, especially when he criticizes Priya's parenting skills. After a row with Ravi over how she raised Avani, Priya flirts with Martin and invites him to buy her a drink at Peggy's that night. Ravi comes to find her and apologizes, and Priya tells him she'll deal with Avani. That night, Ravi finds Priya at Peggy's, and they share a warm moment as they discuss their daughter, but when he asks if he can join Priya for a drink, she knocks him back in favor of Martin, who has just arrived. Lauren is downbeat about her upcoming birthday, but Penny is determined to cheer her up. She sets Lauren up with a profile on a dating site so she can make Peter jealous. Please subscribe our channel.